Welcome to the next video in this series where I show you the most efficient ways to perform any exercise so you can maximize your time in the gym. The cable crunch is one of those exercises that I see done in the gym that's pretty common and, unfortunately, poorly performed, because that's the way I saw somebody online do it. And no objective reasoning is put into why people do it that way. I'm here to show you the most efficient way to do the cable crunch to get the most out of it, which means you won't waste your time in the gym. First things first, set the cable much lower than usual. Too often people have it at the highest it can go, and this decreases the tension at the most stretched position, which is important to get the most out of an exercise for building muscle. Next thing, and probably the most important, don't face the cable, but rather face away. You see, your hip flexors like to help take over the movement and minimize the stimulus from our abs. Obviously, if you're trying to get that six-pack, this isn't ideal. The main job of the abs is to bring the rib cage towards the pelvis. That's it. Whereas the main job of the hip flexors is to bring the chest towards the thigh. Very similar movements, but the hip flexors like to take over. Let me explain. Let's say you're laying flat on the ground. There should be a little arch in your low back that is off the floor. Your abs help around your low back. That's it. If you're to go any further from here, your hip flexors take over, since your abs are already fully contracted. Now, go on your knees. You still have the arch in your low back. If you're to face the cable to set up for a cable crunch, you have to bend over at the hips. Your hip flexors just work to do that. Now, when you do a crunch, what's moving more, your hip flexors or your abs? For most people, their low back stays in that naturally arched position, and they are just using their hip flexors to perform the movement. You may still feel it in your abs, but that doesn't mean they're working. That's like saying you feel it in your back when doing bicep curls. Compare that to rows for building your back, and there's an obvious winner. Instead, face away from the cable and set the cable around mid-back height. Now, when you do the crunch, you'll be forced to round your low back first before finishing the movement, which means your abs are working more. Having the cable lower compared to higher also ensures you have the most tension in the most stretched position. If you really wanted to get the most tension when your abs are stretched, the cable will be at the very bottom, but this would make it challenging to get into position. I like to use a rope as the attachment, that way I can position it around my body when I hold onto it. Your head and neck should stay neutral relative to your torso. Hold the rope tightly and around your upper traps. You want a slight arch in your low back. If this hurts your low back, don't arch as much or use less weight. You want to be in a kneeling position with one foot braced against the cable column. Start by curling with your abs and finish by bringing your torso towards your hips. Your hips may go back a little bit, and that's fine, as long as you come back to the start, where your low back is arched and your hips come forward, making sure your body and thighs are in one straight line. I stick around the 10 to 20 rep range and do only 2 to 3 sets at a time, as the abs are one of those muscles that require a lower body fat percentage to showcase, unlike the quads or arms. If you're bulking, you can still show your hard-earned quads and arms. People are going to know you put a lot of attention into those muscles, whereas your abs aren't going to show when you're on a bulk. So there's not much of a point in doing a ton of sets if you can only show them half of the year. If you have any questions about the cable crunch, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer you. Click like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.